Hey traders, very warm welcome back to you. So today let's talk about what is a martingale strategy? What is martingale? What's it all about? It's been around a while. Sometimes you hear people talking about it. Let's dig in and see if it's any good. Now, it all comes from really people in a casino. So let's talk about the casino example, then let's look at it from a trading perspective, and then we'll work out if it's any good and if we can use it or not. So the point of the martingale strategy is, the idea is that you are recovering your previous losses on the next time you win. So the way you do it is this. Let's say you're betting £1 on the toss of a coin. Okay, so the coin is 50-50. Let's say you have the roulette wheel, red or black. Forget about the green zero in there for now. But this came later, and actually was one of the reasons why it came later. But you've got red or black, people are betting on it, and you've got a 50-50 shot that's going to come up red or black. So you bet a dollar. Let's say let's keep it to dollars. You bet $1 on red, and it comes up black, so you lose $1. Now the next bet you'll take is $2, so you double your stake size. You lose again, you've now lost $3. Okay, so it comes up, you bet on red again, or whatever you were before, you lose the bet anyway. The point is now you double up again and you bet $4 on black, say, comes up red, you lose. Now you've lost $4, $5, $6, $7. You're $7 down. You have to double up again. So now you double up, so this time you double up to $8. You bet on black, it comes up black. So you win back your $8, but you've already lost 4, 5, 6, 7, so you're already making $1, which is exactly what you were trying to make initially. So the point is, you are literally increasing, doubling your bet size each time, with the expected result that eventually you'll be right and that you'll get back this $1 that you risked initially, and your goal is to make that $1. Obviously, if that bet becomes right and you bet on $1 on black and it comes in black, you make $1. You make the same bet again, you put $1 on red, comes up red, you just keep going and going. You only double your stake when you've lost a bet, and you keep doubling it every time you've lost. Now you can probably see from that how there's a couple of things that we can point out from that. One is how quickly this thing grows. You know, you got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. I could go on and on and on, but you can see how quickly that gets up to a meaningful number, you know, not based on the fact that you were initially risking $1. You know, now you have lost all of that and you're risking 64. Yeah, and you can just imagine if you have another kind of 10 or 20 iterations of this, which is perfectly, you know, happens lots of times. If you go and Google something like random coin toss heads and tails, there's a website that lets you kind of do a synthetic tosses, like 1,000 or 10,000 tosses, and then it will show you how many times, or the maximum amount of times, heads or tails occurred in a row, and you will be surprised at how often it occurs when you get, you know, strings of kind of 10 of the same thing in a row. Of course, it's 50, 50, 50, 50 each time. Compounded, it's unlikely, but each time it's 50, 50, 50. So you could quite easily get to this. Now, that's the one thing that we've noted, is that it gets pretty high pretty quickly. So the next thing we noticed is that if you could bet on this indefinitely and you had an infinite amount of money, you're a guarantee of winning. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. In case that you can go, you know, if you've got all the money and you can carry on playing, eventually you will come up right, because a 50-50 toss, you know, if you play it enough times, you're never ever going to play it and it never ever comes up tails. It's never going to happen. So if you've got enough pockets to go in double, then it will come up. However, in theory, that's not possible, right? It's not possible because you can see how quickly the numbers start to increase. And this is why there are table limits on casinos. This is why there's the zero in casinos, obviously the house stage, and that ruins the martingale strategy anyway. But this is why you have table limits on casinos. You play at a table with a £2 limit, you can't then go £4, £8, 16, 32, 64, etc. You have to then stop, which is why one of the reasons they have the table limit on there. So as a casino example, all very well and good, let's look at a trading example, and let's look at what the difference is and whether it can work for us as traders. So the idea here is, let's say we're going. This is a currency pair. and it's coming down, and we're buying here, and it's come down a little bit more, and we're buying here, come down a little bit more, we're buying here, and a little bit more, we're buying here. Again, we're buying 1 lot, 2 lots, 4 lots, 8 lots, okay? And our goal is to make, that sort of movement, whatever that movement there is, okay? So really, if it moves back to here, then we're gonna make what we were gonna make initially. That's the kind of point of Martingale strategy. You're doubling up, you're adding to your position, doubling your size, but then still looking for the same amount of retracement. So let's say it's 10 ticks, okay? So it's 10 ticks, it moves down 10 ticks, you double up, down 10 ticks, you double up, down 10 ticks, you double up. You're looking for that 10 tick retracement to undo all of that damage that you've done, because you've got 8 lots on now. 10 ticks is 80 times your 10, but minus that, minus that, minus that, minus that. Okay, you get the point. Now, does that work? Well, in a broad sense, no. Eventually, you're going to wipe out. I think you probably can see that now. That if you're just literally doing that, all you're going to do is eventually get wiped out. It doesn't even matter how wide you have these gaps of entry. If it's 10 ticks, this thing could go 500 ticks, and by that time you've got a massive size on, a ridiculous size. Or if you even have these gaps that say 100 ticks, you've still got to have that 100 tick pullback or 100 pip pullback for you to get your profit. Otherwise, again, it's not going to work for you. So 100, 100, 100, and it's going to be jagged. So you're still, the likelihood of that working for you is very, very slim. And obviously the biggest thing is the risk of ruin is there. Yes, most of the time you're going to get that pullback where you come out. And there are instances where you see traders who have gone years and they've done this, they've added to it. They've even gone one step further and they've used the correct market conditions for it. So they've gone in when the markets are quiet overnight. The markets are chopping around, not much volatility. They've added. It's come back. They've got away with it. They've added sometimes 10 times to the trade. It's come back. They've got away with it. But then the one time it just breaks out of the range, something happens overnight, rallies off 200, 300 pips, holds, then does another 300 the next week. You're wiped out. So the point is, this is not a good strategy to trade. However, let me just add a point here, and this is maybe a bit controversial, but I'm going to say it because I'm open-minded to stuff and be interested to see your comments about this. There is a place to do something similar to that, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Let me explain. If you are trading a pair trading strategy that is specifically mean reverting, okay, then doing this within parameters and having a total risk and saying, listen, I'm prepared to risk X amount, but I want to go in with layers because I've seen that often we have this kind of expansion away from the mean that comes back. So I'm going to add layers and I'm going to double up. Now the doubling up is where it gets hazardous. All very well adding doubling up, but you're kind of better sometimes to do the one if you're going to scale into a position. But there's something to be investigated. It's not something I would do, and it's definitely something I would never recommend somebody do it. But without dismissing this completely, even though it just seems completely crazy, if you had some sort of cap on your risk, then there kind of might be a situation where you would use it in a small context. So you may not want to go 1, 2, 4, right? You may want to just go 1, 2, 4, hold it. Perhaps you're looking, let me give you an actual example here. And this is an example that would make perfect sense to you, because I can see some people even are probably going, oh, this doesn't sound great. Let's say you're buying at support, right? Let's say you're buying at support here. Comes down and you say, I'm going to buy one lot at support here, £1 a point at support, whatever it may be. Comes through, then you're buying 2, okay, here. And then it comes through here and then you're buying 4. But the reason you're buying 4 there is that okay, this is where it could come in useful, is that you've done back testing, or and you know your strategy, that the best trades come from when the market goes through that support level by 15 ticks, and then bounces straight back up. It bounces straight back up and it's just a fake out. And you know that and you think that's great. However, that doesn't occur very often, right? So what you're doing is saying, listen, most often it stops right on the line. So I want to be in something there, but not most of it, because it's not the very, very best trade. I've lost my microphone. No, I haven't. The very best trade is not there. The very best trade is to buy it here, but I still want to be involved. So you may say, okay, it gets to be a better, more exciting trade as it goes further away, but it's less frequent. So I am going to use this kind of mini martingale. I'm going to say, listen, there's my first batch, there's my second batch, which is double that batch, there's that batch. Now, obviously, that it is martingale, if you look at it strictly, you're doubling your size each time. But the reason you're doing it is for a different reason than the martingale reason. The martingale reason is you just want to get your money back. This reason is because you believe, for whatever reason, that is the more profitable trade, and that's what you want to be in the most size of. However, this has the most frequency, so you still want to be in that. And then obviously, you know, the middle point here is somewhere between the two. So that's why you would do that kind of trade. And that makes sense to me. And leave a comment below what your thoughts are on that. But it doesn't make sense from purely a case of just want to get back my £2. But the big caveat for this and the massive takeaway from this is you've got to have a stop. So completely against all martingale rules is at some point you say, listen, my maximum risk is that I'm in X ticks away from what X times 1, X times 2 and X times 4. So my max risk is X. I'm planning it out and I'm going in. So even though that appears to be martingale, it's not really. So summary is, guys, martingale on its own is just completely a death trap. You'll get away with it for a long time, potentially, if you use the right conditions for it. But then one day will come and it will just wipe you out completely. That's almost guaranteed. However, using the kind of the risk and position sizing from martingale within a strategy, but with some boundaries on it, it's potentially something to explore. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe. Look out for more videos in the future from me. And I would really love to know your comments on this, because it's a bit of a controversial subject. I hope I've kind of addressed something a little bit different, rather than saying, you know, this is crazy and crazy. And it is, obviously, if we just look at it raw and a raw perspective. But are there any other ways that you think you can integrate that kind of money management within a strategy? Would be interesting to hear your thoughts on that, guys. Anyway, take care. Back with another video soon. Bye-bye.